Yes, welcome everyone. It's Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's December 19th, 2019. The show, as always, is presented by the Marijuana Times. Find us at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab there to find the show. A lot of great articles as well. marijuanatimes.org. Today we're talking about whether or not more marijuana stores will be coming to Ontario, the largest province in Canada, population-wise. Also, a substitute teacher lit up during class. We'll talk about that. And Cannabis lab in Nevada being fined for improper procedures when it comes to testing cannabis. All that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside. Nature-side.com. And their organic, all-natural pesticides grow safe and poison-free with Natureside. Don't use harmful chemicals or banned pesticides. Be regulatory compliant in the state that you are growing in. All of these things are possible with Natureside. Nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you, Natureside. It's first story by yours truly. At marijuanatimes.org, are more marijuana stores coming to Ontario? One of the more glaring problems with Canada's adult use marijuana industry is the severe lack of marijuana shops in Ontario. Ontario is Canada's most populous province, has about 14 million people, but only around 24 marijuana shops, which is not much for 14 million people. It's just not going to get the job done. Officials in Ontario trying to do something about that. The Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, to be more specific, they announced they're removing some of the caps associated with operating a marijuana retail shop in Ontario. They're getting rid of the lottery system. They're going to raise the caps. They're supposed to start accepting operator license applications on January 6th, 2020. Store authorization applications are supposed to be on March 2nd. Hopefully by April of 2020, they'll start opening up stores. And by the end of 2020, instead of 24 stores, they're hoping to have more like 250. They'll raise the caps on stores that can be owned by one operator from 10, then 30, and then that cap will go up to 75 by September of 2021. And again, getting rid of the lottery system. I don't know. The lottery system is the worst way to choose pretty much anything. It's random. It's arbitrary. It does not take into account the best people for the job. Nothing. It's random and arbitrary. It's a silly way to do things. It's a silly way to hand out business licenses. It's a silly way really to do anything other than the lottery. The only thing the lottery system is good for is playing the lottery if you so choose to do that. So hopefully by the end of the year, there'll be more shops in Ontario. By the end of next year, rather. More shops in Ontario, which will lower prices and help undercut the black market more, or at least somewhat at this point. At least allow the illegal industry to start competing with the black market in Canada. This next story from New York Post. Substitute teacher fired for allegedly smoking marijuana in front of the class. I know, right? Substitute teacher in Massachusetts has been fired for allegedly smoking marijuana in front of a classroom of students. The unidentified educator was immediately kicked out of class after students at North Attleboro High School rushed to report the alleged toker narcs. According to WHDH, I clicked through to the story. They don't give any more detail than this story does. So it's unclear if the teacher will face criminal charges. The incident at North Attleboro High School was entirely unexpected and unprecedented, said Principal Peter Haviland, calling it in no way a reflection of the school. The quick actions of the students to report their concerns is an accurate reflection of the values of this school and community, and serves as comforting evidence demonstrating that our students share and uphold these common values of safety and appropriateness within our school. We're joking around about, of course, them being narcs. Obviously, if that's what's going to happen. They're going to tell their kids. They're going to say, hey, this teacher did something crazy. They lit up a joint in the classroom. The incident remains under investigation, the station said. What I don't like about this story, and that's why I said I clicked through to the other story to see if there's any more detail there. And there's not, which is unfortunate because I would love to hear the story surrounding why he did this. He just didn't happen to have a joint and decide to light it up. He didn't wake up that morning and say, hey, you know what, for a little bit of fun, for a little bit of tomfoolery, I'm going to go in to my job and I'm going to light up a joint. He was either, one, not in his right mind for whatever reason, drugs, depression, whatever, or two, didn't want to be a substitute teacher anymore. and thought this was a good way to not do that. I don't know whether a thought process would go through someone doing something in front of a bunch of people that's obviously not allowed in their job. They know they're going to lose their job, so either they're not thinking clearly or they want to lose their job. And I guess he figured, man, I just don't want to be a substitute anymore. This would be my guess. Anyway, I don't want to be a substitute anymore. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I want to get into the cannabis industry. Even then, you just quit. Maybe he's one of those quirky people that's like, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to give all these kids a story to tell for the rest of their lives. The day as substitute, just fired up right in the classroom. But I don't like stories like this because there's none of the actual story of why. Why? What would possess someone to do something like that with the obvious consequences that were to follow? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. And that's a shame because I would like to know. If I see an update somewhere, obviously, I will bring it to you all. This next story from News3LV.com out of Nevada. Nevada Cannabis Lab gets fined for improper THC testing. Cannabis Testing Laboratory in Nevada has received a fine and suspension for improper THC results. This is according to state regulators. The penalty against Sparks-based Certified AG Labs, LLC, comes after the Nevada Department of Taxation said last month that it found inaccurate THC levels in marijuana tested by the lab. In a statement, spokesperson said the regulators found Certified AG Labs, quote, engaged in unsound testing practices, which resulted in reported of inaccurate THC potency results. The lab has agreed to the violation, according to regulators, and will pay a $70,000 fine and a 30-day suspension retroactive to the suspension issued on November 18th. Also, have to make up for the deficiencies that resulted in the bad results in the first place. So there you go. More cannabis news. Again, I'll try to find out more. And if you find out more about that story, about that teacher, the substitute teacher, feel free to email me, stonerjesus420@gmail.com, @stonerjesus420 on Twitter. You can get a hold of me. We're here 5 days a week, of course, on Cannabis News, brought to you by the Marijuana Times. MarijuanaTimes.org is where you can find us. We're also on YouTube. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube. Subscribe. We're closing in on 3,000 subscribers. Keep sharing, liking, and commenting on the videos. Thanks for watching and listening today. I'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.